Hi, this is Dr. Renee.
And this is Dr. Kelly.
And today we're going to talk about lifestyle changes you can make to eliminate a prediabetes diagnosis or to get rid of type 2 diabetes. So, we know if you eat right and exercise, that's the easy, answer to it all. But what are the actual changes we can make so that we don't get into that prediabetes? And what's the number again for prediabetes?
So in prediabetes, your blood sugars are elevated. They're not normal, but they're not high enough that you are classified as having full-blown diabetes. So there are a few ways to diagnose prediabetes and diabetes. So one way is hemoglobin A1C.
Which I noticed that in most annual exams now, your doctor is checking your hemoglobin A1C, which is an average, a 3-month average.
It's a 3-month blood sugar average. The normal number is when you're less than 5.7%. Diabetes is when you're 6.5% or higher. So anything between 5.7 and 6.4%, you're considered as prediabetes. Your doctor can also do a fasting blood sugar level or even give you that sugary drink and check your blood sugar 2 hours later. Those tests can also be used to diagnose diabetes and prediabetes.
So what are some lifestyle changes so we don't get prediabetes?
So a lot of...
Well, not even lifestyle changes. How can we live every day so that we never have to enter that?
So first thing, you need to identify your risk factors for having diabetes or prediabetes. If you're over the age of 45, if you are obese or overweight, or if you have a family history of diabetes, you are at risk for having a blood sugar problem. So one, identify your risk. Two, we need to get some exercise in for anybody, not diabetic, pre-diabetic, or even someone who has diabetes. So the goal is a minimum of 150 minutes per week. That's half an hour, 5 days a week. If you tell me I cannot do half an hour, start to do something. Walk 10 minutes 3 times a day, or even just walk after your biggest meal. Most of us eat our biggest meal for dinner, so go for a 10-15 minute walk after dinner. So there was a big study that looked at preventing prediabetes going on to full-blown diabetes, and they compared a group that did lifestyle changes versus a group that was on a medication it's called metformin. And what they found was that the lifestyle group who did the exercise for 30 minutes 5 days a week, they lost 7% of their body weight, and they also went on a diet, a low carb diet. They did better at preventing diabetes than even the metformin group. So lifestyle changes are even better than medication.
So, like you said, so low carb, so not no carb, but
right.
Just...
Your brain still needs glucose. Like
right.
we get hungry when we need to eat. So your brain still needs glucose.
So you want so just not so many
processed
cocktails,
stuff,
processed foods, pasta,
breads,
rice,
all the good stuff that we like to eat.
What I tell people is the white stuff. Just
yes,
if it's white flour, white potatoes.
Have more fiber. Making sure that you add some kind of protein or fats to your carbs if you do have carbs. Because if you just have, simple carbs, it's going to spike your blood sugars really quickly. If you add more fiber, more protein, more fat, it leads to a slower release of the carbs that you're eating, so that sugar doesn't spike up as high and as quickly.
Okay. So how can we reverse a type 2 diabetes diagnosis?
It's the same thing. Exercise, getting in that half an hour, 5 days a week, cutting down the amount of carbs that you're having. Your brain still needs glucose, so I'm not saying eliminate all carbohydrates, but choosing the right carbs. Get rid of the processed foods, having more fiber, making sure that you add protein or fat to your carbs when you do have them, so that your blood sugars aren't spiking up quickly. Drinking lots of water. Those are things that you can do to reverse your diabetes.